Today I would like to present this study, which is called Year-Round Pesticide Contamination of Public Sites Near Intensively Managed Agriculture Areas in South Tyrol. This study has been published. It's a peer-reviewed study that we published in a journal which is called Environmental Sciences Europe. It has been published the beginning of this year. And I would like to go to the next slide. I talk a little bit about the framing of the project, why we did the study, the contents of the study, and then I go into the details. The framing of this project. During the last couple of years, and I'm almost talking about 10 years, the environmental groups in South Tyrol, they took small number of grass samples on playgrounds and public places. Playgrounds as defined in Article 12 of the Directive 2009/128. Because there were limited number of samples in 2017, we decided that we wanted to do a bigger project with a total number of 71 grass samples on public playgrounds in South Tyrol. This project was privately financed, and based on the results of the first citizen science study we did in 2017, we were able to put a lot of pressure on the regional politicians in South Tyrol to take grass samples on specific areas, also again related to Article 12 of the EU directive. And this time it was not privately financed, but it was the taxpayer money that was used for financing this project by the regional politicians in South Tyrol. Why did we do this study, and what was the content of the study? After the year 2018, in which the local politicians or local institutions took grass samples on playgrounds and schoolyards, they took 96 grass samples on playgrounds. That means 24 different playgrounds at 4 different times of the year. So they had winter, spring, summer, and autumn. And after their study was done, the local experts informed the people in South Tyrol that there's absolutely no risk and no problem for the health to the children who are playing on the playgrounds, but also the pregnant moms who are visiting the playgrounds, and also the elderly people. They did not mention any details on the residues they found in the grass samples. So we decided to get our hands on these laboratory reports in order to reanalyze the laboratory reports from the grass samples in order to verify or falsify the findings. So the finding from them was there's absolutely no risk. We wanted to see if there is a year-round contamination in the sensible zones, the specific areas visited by the vulnerable groups, such as children or older people. The focus area of the study was South Tyrol, but the results, the findings of our study can easily be interpreted for other areas in which agriculture fields and living areas are actually interlinked or very close to each other. The reanalysis that we did was supported by a group of NGOs, but we were also highly supported by the Ramazzini Institute, which is a research institute in Italy. And also very important is that we had the scientific support from the University of National Resources and Life Sciences in Vienna, Boku, and you can also see the other supporters. In order to show you where exactly we are in South Tyrol, I have presented, I have a slide with a couple of pictures. You can see South Tyrol is in the northern part of Italy. You see it on the map, and we are close to Austria. We are close to Switzerland, so we are on top of the Italian area. And the agriculture is mainly wine production and apple production. On the right-hand picture, you can see something that we see on a daily basis. This is the use of pesticides in the apple orchard. And as you can already see on the pictures, there's a lot of pesticides that are sprayed that are not reaching the target, but they are spread into the village that you can see on the back of the picture on top. And on the right-hand side, you can see a picture of a playground. And in the back of the playground, you see an apple field where about 23 times, 25 times a year, there are a lot of pesticides being sprayed, and they don't stay at the same place, as we have seen in the study we've done. Now I would like to go to the results of of our findings. So as Sarah already mentioned, in our area, we found 32 pesticides and 1 preservative agent. That means in total, we had 33 different chemicals that we found on non-targeted areas. That in this case, these were the playgrounds. And what is even more alarming is not the fact that we found these pesticides, but 25 of the chemicals that we found are to be considered endocrine disrupting chemicals. EDCs and EDAs. EDA means endocrine disrupting agents, and I have a list of all agents or all substances. I'm not going to read it, but these are the 25 substances that are being classified as EDCs, EDAs. What is also very alarming is that we found a contamination year-round. So it's not only in the times that the pesticides are sprayed on the apple fields, it's also in winter and in the fall, where there's actually no use of pesticides. We found multiple residues. We're talking about cocktail effects. There's no research done in the European Union on the effects of different pesticides on grass or on food. So the cocktail effect is very alarming as well. And then we found a mixture of endocrine disrupting chemicals. All of these endocrine disrupting chemicals, a lot of them were under they were within the safe levels, the defined safe levels, but in total they are causing a problems. And also the problem with the endocrine disrupting chemicals is that there's no possibility to put safe levels because they can be more harmful in lower concentration than in higher concentration. As a result, it could be said that there might be long-term effects due to the fact that there's long-term exposure from the people living in our area, and there's obviously a higher risk for chronic diseases. The local institutions and politicians are not looking into these long-term effects on long-term exposure, as they are always saying that there's no problem. What we also found in the reanalysis of the laboratory reports is that in a lot of cases, the maximum residue levels were exceeded. What do we mean with this? If we would have found this concentration on lettuce, strawberry, and spinach, this food cannot be sold or cannot be eaten anymore. So if we have identified pesticides on non-target areas as playgrounds, it's most probable that these pesticides can also be found on private garden in which lettuce, salad, and strawberry is harvested at the time where they use the pesticides, and the private people, they don't have a possibility to do a sample of their salad before they are eating it, because by the time they got the results, the salad is already not possible to eat anymore. So this is very alarming. Over the seasons, as you can see in the next slide, as I said, we had 24 different playgrounds at 4 times during the year. In spring, 83% of all playgrounds were contaminated with pesticides. In summer, almost 80% of the playgrounds were contaminated. In autumn, by the time that the apples and the wine is harvested, still 50% of the playgrounds is contaminated with pesticides, mainly from the use in the agriculture. And in winter, still 17% of the playgrounds are contaminated. And you can also see the colors, especially if you look at in spring, we found 10 playgrounds with more than 4 different pesticides found in the grass. So that's the cocktail effect that I was just talking about. Based on the figures that were available, and I mentioned that we have privately financed a study in the year 2017, in spring 2017, and we were also able to compare the 2017 figures with the 2018, as you can see on this slide. We have the impression, and it's based on figures, that the situation did not improve from the year 2017 to the year 2018, even though the local politicians in South Tyrol, they said that they have taken a lot of measures to improve the situation. In our opinion, this is not an improvement, and also an initial first analysis that we have done with the 2020 figures, we still do not see an improvement. So all measures that have been taken by the politicians on the regional level, they are not leading to the result of an improvement. I would like to go to the already to the conclusions, because I think that Francois mentioned that I have 2 more minutes left. At this time, we would like to thank as well the Italian MEP Eleonora Efi. She has been supporting us in the past, and she tabled a parliamentary question to the European Commission in which we said, we have found this contamination of the playgrounds, and if the Commission considers using the results of our study for their work, and they said they will take into account the findings of this evaluation if they are working on the work that they are doing on the Sustainable Use Directive. So they will be using our study. I would be pleased to hear or to know how they would like to use this and what they will be doing, because we are able to provide even more information. So we urge the European Commission and the Parliament to a deep revision of the EU Directive 2009-128, especially the Article 12 that was already mentioned before. We need a more ambitious approach in order to guarantee the protection of the vulnerable groups specifically and people in general. One consideration could be the introduction of a 150-meter buffer strip between agriculture fields and these specific zones, but also residential areas should get a better attention. And 150 meters is a compromise, so it even would need more. Furthermore, I would like to point out once again the European Citizen Initiative, Save Bees and Farmers, is aiming at a huge reduction to ban pesticides within a reasonable transition time. As I said before, my final words, I could talk about the study for 1 more hour, but Francois is telling me that I need to stop now. Thank you very much for the attention. I'm open for questions afterwards. Thank you very much.